Hello, bonjour, tanse. I'm Roland from the Family Law Information Center. Welcome to our series of videos on family law. This video will provide an introduction to child support. Other family law subjects such as divorce, custody, access, spousal support, and division of property will be addressed in other videos in this series and can be viewed at your convenience. This video introduces basic concepts of child support so that you have a better understanding of what child support is when parents or spouses separate. We will look at what child support is, child support guidelines, Section 7 expenses, how child support is determined, updating child support, enforcing child support, and scenarios. Child support is the right of the child, and parents have a legal obligation to support children. It is money that a parent pays to help support his or her child financially when parents live in separate homes. This responsibility does not end with divorce or separation. In most situations, the parents who does not live with the child most of the time pay support to the parent who lives with the child. This could be any parent. Those who act as a parent may also have an obligation to pay child support. This could be a step-parent who has been acting in the place of a parent, for example. In Saskatchewan, child support is always determined using the federal child support guidelines. Both federal legislation, the Divorce Act, and provincial legislation, the Family Maintenance Act, use the federal child support guidelines. Information on child support is available at the Department of Justice Canada website. This website also includes an online calculator for people to use when calculating child support scenarios. Justice Canada created a guide called Step by Step, which can be used to calculate the amount of child support. Go to the Department of Justice Canada website, justice.gc.ca. Calculating child support by yourself can be difficult, depending on your family situation. For parents receiving child support payments, the child support online calculator can be a guideline and give you an idea as to what you might be receiving as monthly payments for child support. The receiving parent may not know exactly how much money the other parent earns, but even if they have a rough idea, it is something to start with. You can also visit the Public Legal Education Association of Saskatchewan website at familylaw.ple.org for more information on child support. Even lawyers need assistance and use software for making difficult calculations. It is always a good idea to consult with a lawyer and get legal advice. The child support guidelines include tables to help determine the amount of child support. The tables are based on 4 main factors: the annual income of the paying parent, the number of children eligible for child support, the province or territory where the paying parent lives, and the parenting arrangement. The amount of support determined by these tables are often referred to as the table amount of support. The table amount is used in situations where the child lives primarily with one parent. Where parents each have the children live with them at least 40% of the time, often referred to as shared custody, the court can use different methods for calculating child support. The table amount can still be used, but a set-off approach can also be used. This means that a table amount of child support would be determined for each parent based on his or her annual income and based on the child living primarily with the other parent. The difference between these two amounts would be the amount of support payable to the parent with the lower annual income. Some children require special or extraordinary expenses in addition to the table amount. Some parents pay Section 7 expenses and some do not. It is possible to pay child support without paying Section 7 expenses. These are expenses a payer may be required to pay above and beyond the basic amount of child support outlined in the child support tables. The federal guidelines define special or extraordinary expenses as necessary because they are in the child's best interests and reasonable given the means of the parents and the child in light of the family's spending patterns before the separation. According to the guidelines, there are various types of Section 7 expenses. They can include expenses such as childcare, medical or dental insurance premiums that provide coverage for your child, and expenses for your child's healthcare needs that exceed $100 per year for things such as orthodontics, counseling, medication, or eye care, as well as expenses for your child's post-secondary education, and finally, expenses for your child's extracurricular activities. There are other expenses that may be relevant to your child's needs and could be included as Section 7 expenses not listed here. At income tax time, please note, parents receiving child support payments will not have their payments taxed, and the parent paying child support will not be able to use the money they have paid as a tax deduction if the agreement was made after May 1st, 1997. Parents can determine how to pay on their own using the guidelines, and this amount can be put into a child support agreement. It is better for children if the parents cooperate for the sake of their children. See the options for resolving disputes video for more information about what services can help parties come to an agreement about child support. If parents cannot agree how much to pay, either party can apply to court, and the court will use the guidelines. Parents usually have more conflict and lose control over decision-making when they go to court. Going to court can be expensive and stressful, so it is best when parents can decide on their own. If you can't afford a lawyer, the Family Law Information Center has self-help kits for applying to court for a support order and for drafting a child support agreement. You can contact the Family Law Information Center at 1-888-218-2822. Note that if one of the parents lives outside of Saskatchewan, you should contact the Family Law Information Center or the Interjurisdictional Support Orders Unit for further information. This information is available at saskatchewan.ca website by searching child support. Whether you receive or pay child support, how does a parent get the amount adjusted or changed when their financial situation changes? This often is the main question from parents when there is a change in their circumstances. This could be a parent losing or changing their job, getting into a new relationship, having another child with a new partner, or possibly injury and can no longer work. In order to get your child support amount changed, you can either voluntarily agree to negotiate, and if you can't agree, you can make an application to vary in court. If you need to make changes, there are options available to change existing court orders and agreements. In Saskatchewan, one option for updating child support is the Child Support Recalculation Service. The goal of this program is to update child support amounts to reflect changes in income without burdening families with the time and expense of pursuing those adjustments through court processes. Parents can apply to this service free of charge to have child support amounts adjusted administratively by the program. The Recalculation Service can recalculate the amount of support. Either parent can apply. The service can recalculate when the table amount of support has been used. There are situations where the service cannot recalculate. You should contact the Recalculation Service to find out if your support order or agreement can be recalculated. For additional information about this service, you can go to saskatchewan.ca and search recalculation. You can also call toll-free 1-833-825-1445 or business at 306-787-5042. You can also email recalculation@gov.sk.ca. Another option to update child support amounts is to amend any agreements entered into voluntarily by parents. If parents have a child support agreement, they can create an updated agreement if they both agree on the new amount. If parties are having difficulty negotiating a new amount of support and want help, they can contact a mediator or collaborative lawyer. See the options for resolving disputes video in this series for more information. The Family Law Information Center has a self-help kit for amending a support agreement. Go to Saskatchewan.ca and search Represent Yourself in Family Court, or you can email svp@gov.sk.c or simply phone 1-888-218-2822. The last option to change child support is applying to court. If parents can't agree on a new child support amount, either parent can apply to the court. If the parties had a child support agreement, they can apply to court for a new child support order. If the parties already had a child support order, they can apply to court to vary the order. The Family Law Information Center has self-help kits for these court applications. You can get a copy of the kit by phoning 1-888-218-2822 or go to Saskatchewan.ca and search Represent Yourself in Family Court or email svp@gov.sk.ca. The Maintenance Enforcement Office helps people enforce support amounts. It can even help when the other parent lives in another province or territory or country. These services are offered free of charge. Both support orders and agreements can be enforced by the MEO. Whether you are a recipient, receiving, or a payer paying, you may register your child support order or agreement with the Ministry of Justice's MEO. For more information, go to Saskatchewan.ca and search child support. Now let's go ahead and try to apply some of the information we learned today regarding child support. In scenario 1, Fred and Wilma were married for 25 years and have 3 children together. They divorced a few years ago and Fred was paying child support to Wilma. The oldest child, Pebbles, is going to be attending university this year. Can he pay child support directly to Pebbles? Child support is money that a parent pays to help support his or her child financially after separation or divorce. It is generally paid to the other parent, not to the child. Judges can order a parent to pay child support directly to a child over the age of majority, but they only do so in certain situations. Judges consider the family's situation to determine the appropriate arrangements. Child support may be payable for children over the age of 18 who are still attending school and have an illness or disability. So long as they continue to be dependent on their parents, child support is still payable. Scenario 2. Fred has now moved on and Wilma has also remarried to a new partner, Barney. Fred knows Barney makes more money than him and thinks Barney is in a better position to provide financially for Wilma. Does he still have to pay child support? Your children have a legal right to financial support from both parents, and you both have a legal responsibility to provide the support. Those rights and responsibilities do not end when your former spouses remarries. Scenario 3. Pebbles is also working part-time while attending university. Fred believes child support should end now that she is older and working part-time. When does child support end? If you already have a child support order or a written agreement, it may indicate when child support will end. For example, your support order or agreement might say that support will stop only when a child reaches a certain age or until the end of their education. If your child support order or agreement does not say when support ends, then the requirement to pay child support continues until the order is changed by a court or until you and the other parent change your agreement. A child who is over the age of majority, which means 18 years or older, may still be dependent if they cannot support themselves because they are going to school full-time. Child support for adult children is often calculated by looking at all of their income, including any student loans or summer employment, versus their total expenses for the year. If there is a shortfall, the parent pay the shortfall based on their proportional income. Full-time students are still considered dependent on parents. If you would like more assistance or just have some questions about child support, you can call the Family Law Information Center at 1-888-218-2822. or you can call 306-787-5837. You can also email svp@gov.sk.ca for more information on child support. Thank you.